he admits, as he speaks and rebukes the other criminal, he admits that they're hanging there for their own guilt. And as he's hanging there, he, of course, is thinking of his own situation, for it is not just that he's going to be crucified to the death for what he's done, but worse, he will then encounter the judgment of God himself, his creator. He fears God. He realizes that his ultimate judgment awaits. He's probably also heard Jesus' prayer for the soldiers. Remember me when you come into your kingdom, Lord. And the Lord Jesus looks in a way that none of us could, looks into his heart and grants him those ultimate words of salvation. Today, you will paradise. Who would not wish to be with Jesus today in paradise? Those words, they're words that throw most of the things in our own lives into utter insignificance. They confront us with what it is to live for the Lord Jesus. Is this our hope and our comfort for the future, that we too may be with the Lord Jesus in paradise? Will we rearrange our priorities and our lives for this future, for this promise? That brings us to the third statement, words of caring. We turn to John. The Gospel of John, chapter 19, verse 25. Now, there stood by the cross of Jesus his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus therefore saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing by, but he's abandoned also by God himself, and that is symbolized in those 3 hours of utter darkness. The Lord Jesus, both in his humanity and in his divinity, as God's Son, suffered. For only so could he suffer the weight of our guilt and take that upon himself, that hellish agony of abandonment from God. And you see too, that the Lord Jesus hanging on the cross was very much aware that in his suffering he was fulfilling the prayer of Psalm 22. And that psalm was on his lips and on his mind as he suffers. That same song, a portion of which we have sung together this morning. But it's that total abandonment, even by God the Father, brothers and sisters, which is the guarantee for our forgiveness when we come repentant to God. For in that way, the Lord Jesus was able to suffer once and for all, paying in one go, if you will, the ultimate penalty, enabling us to be able in faith to have that freedom from damnation, that freedom from judgment. And that hellish agony suffered by the Lord Jesus is for us a great comfort. That brings us to the words of distress and triumph from the Lord Jesus. They are the 5th and 6th statements on the cross. You find them in the Gospel of John, chapter 19. They're mentioned together. John 19, we're going to read from verse 28 through to the first part of verse 30. After this, Jesus, knowing that all things were now accomplished,